Hello and welcome to Growth Masterminds, the podcast for growth marketers. My name is John Koetsier. Today's a little bit different. I had a conversation with the new CEO of Unity. And as you probably know, Unity really matters in mobile. A huge chunk of games are built in Unity. Also, since Unity bought ironSource, including Level Play, its mediation platform, Unity matters for marketers as well. The new CEO is Matt Bromberg, and he's got a pretty tough job. Unity's attempt to move to a new pricing model was massively controversial in the industry and essentially resulted in the former CEO, John Koetsier, departing. Now, Matt Bromberg has to reverse that sentiment, refocus the company, and deliver for users, customers, and marketers. In this conversation, we chat about Unity, we chat about gaming, Unity products, Unity and AI, and how Unity sees the future of advertising and app monetization. Enjoy. You're a gaming OG. What is Unity's place in gaming?
Yeah, I'm just, to your point, I've been a customer of this company for many, many years, both on the engine side of our business and on the ad side of the business. So for me, I really understand how foundational we are to the ecosystem and how much better the ecosystem is on both sides of our business when Unity is strong in doing the right things. My enthusiasm about this opportunity is just around that. What can we do to relentlessly focus on delivering a platform that helps our customers make games more quickly, more efficiently, and innovate? And how do we help them connect those games to players? If we can do that properly, we will continue to be at the center of gaming for many, many years. And that just requires our focus and execution.
Yeah, and it's amazing how central Unity is, how many use the software, and yet it's been challenging for the company to become profitable. You've had quarters, obviously, and so obviously the runtime thing was an attempt to break out of that. How do you see the next few years of Unity and Unity's trajectory in terms of being profitable?
Well, keep in mind, we are now very solidly profitable. So that's a big change. And the reason that's important for the ecosystem is because you control your own destiny when you have a growing, profitable business. You can deliver for customers without distraction. It's an important part. We've made enormous strides in that direction. And you're right, we are super central to the ecosystem. But what we want to do is sort of earn our place
Mhm.
in that ecosystem, or maybe re-earn our place in that ecosystem. And by doing a better job releasing products and doing a better job being stable and supporting the products we release. And when we do that, our business will continue to grow. I have absolutely no doubt that it will continue to grow. All we have to do is release great products consistently and provide stability as a platform and return on investment for our ad partners. And the business, there's an unlimited growth trajectory for the company. We just have to execute against that.
Want to talk about monetization, probably kind of all three of the pillars of your company, but monetization. You hired Jim Payne, co-founder of Max. Dude has a resume. And I've often thought that the ad network side of Unity has tremendous potential beyond where it is already. Talk about how you see that going forward in the future and how you see making that monetization engine, that ad network piece more critical to everyone who uses the engine.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is an enormous asset. If you think about we're delivering 65 billion impressions a month. So there's like we're reaching 1.5 billion gamers just on the ad side. Never mind the 1.5 billion devices that the runtime is resident on too. So These are enormous, massive ecosystem numbers. And bringing world-class talent into our ad business is a really big part of how we're going to continue to improve it, to your point.
Mm.
But the core insight for me, though, is that, especially in mobile, this idea that somehow ad monetization and user acquisition is some separate thing from game development and what we do on the engine side, that is the fundamental, I think, misconception that we've had, even internally.
Mhm.
Because as a customer, as a person who's made a lot of mobile games, I can tell you that that experience is a fully integrated experience. We think about prototyping and designing systems inside mobile games to engage customers, and then to figure out how to create systems that support monetization that is a natural outgrowth of that engagement. That's how you build mobile games. So you don't, they're free to play. You don't think about monetization and user acquisition as a separate activity. It's
Mhm.
core to what you're thinking about. Our unique value proposition in the market is we're the only player who can take the developer from prototyping through building into live service management and through to user acquisition and monetization. We have to prove that we can deliver something valuable by virtue of our position in that market by leveraging the data you need to optimize that whole process. That's the unique value proposition we have in the world. And it's a really powerful spot to be in. We can deliver a tremendous amount of value. We just need to continue to build that.
That's a really interesting point that you make. Like one of the games that I play all the time on mobile is always trying to sell me stuff that I would never use,
Right.
because it's in portions of the game that I don't actually access. So if you are a
Right.
mobile developer and you want to monetize your game, you have to have a bunch of different solutions. You've got to have sort of a mobile CRM, a live ops solution. What are my players, classifying them, segmenting them, what do they do, what do they not do, getting as personal as you can, saying, hey, they're interested in this, so that might be good to them, and then providing experiences, whether those are in-app purchases or advertising experiences, rewarded ads or whatever, so that you are giving the right thing to the right person at the right time that they're more likely to take
Yes.
action on. That's a complex stack actually to
Yes.
put in place, because you're building your game. You've got the CRM, mobile CRM thing. You've also
Yes.
got the Braze, that sort of thing, right? Then the Clever Tap. Then you've also got the monetization components that you want to bring into this. You've got to integrate a bunch of things. Are you saying basically you can make that boom, you've got it all in one?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And I think that the key differentiator for mobile game developers in particular is who has a better understanding of their players and can use that understanding to personalize the experience to the greatest degree. That is the key to great mobile game development. And that is all about leveraging the data you have to deliver those experiences. And what I would say is that the greatest strength of Unity as a platform is its extensibility. So there are things we're going to provide directly. And then there are obviously all of those partners that plug into the platform. But we're in a unique position because we operate that platform to maximize impact for customers and to integrate those things properly to provide one place to do what you need to do. To me, that's what, if we were imagining today, what does it mean to say democratizing game development? That's that putting those tools in everybody's hands and allowing everybody to operate around that level of sophistication is probably the answer to that question
Mhm.
today. And again, that is a unique position that we sit in, right? So we're not going to do everything ourselves, but we're going to find the right mix of things we should do ourselves, partners that you want to plug into our platform, and then how do we leverage the data that we can help you both access and get insight from to make that process possible. Again, from prototyping through user acquisition monetization in a personalized way. Like that's the opportunity.
It's a challenging space, though. I mean, you've got a unique seat in that ecosystem, but it's
Yes.
a challenging space. In your last quarterly report, you said mobile advertising about $150 billion business. Great, let's go for that. And yet the competition there, I mean, is literally immense. You've got the Googles and the Metas of the world, obviously, right?
Yep.
But then you've also got, some of the large players, the app lovings of the world, that sort of thing, that
Yep.
have strong positioning. how can you provide a unique value proposition against those players?
What's always important for folks to remember is just how big and central gaming is to the world, right? I'm always reminding folks that 60% of the app economy is the game economy, right? So as it relates to other large competitors and things, I am really comfortable with how central video gaming is in the lives of customers and that market being big enough to support multiple businesses in that space. If we can deliver against that, we're going to be in great shape. At the same time, I believe we have a unique position inside that really large market, and we've just begun to scratch the surface of how to deliver value there. I know how much better we can do and we're going to do, and that's going to produce meaningful growth over time.
Cool. So I want to go a little bit beyond gaming and a bunch of other stuff. I saw in your Q2 report, you said Unity plays a unique role in the marketplace, sitting at the intersection of mobile, 3D, AI, gaming, data, and digital advertising. Do you want to talk about AI? We'll come back to that in a bit. You said
Yep.
the opportunity is clear. There's multiple opportunities though, right? Is that a focus challenge?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's one of the greatest strengths of Uni, as I mentioned there, is that we're sitting at the intersection of all these incredibly powerful forces. However, if you are not careful, you can become distracted by some of those because you can't do everything, right? So our strategy going forward is very much to focus our activities on delivering for our core gaming customer in a kind of unified ecosystem from prototyping through user acquisition, monetization. How do we deliver value there? And then how do we take the work we're doing for that core customer and leverage it in a really natural and organic way for industry customers outside of gaming, primarily around 3D visualization. And that's what we're going to focus on. And that's it. So,
Mhm.
and that's more than enough, right? The opportunity outside of gaming is a multi-billion dollar opportunity. The opportunity inside gaming is, as we just described, is vast. Like, if we can be exceptional in those areas, we don't need to do other things.
Mhm.
Like, as an operating person, I can tell you that the single most important thing in any business, and really in any activity in the world, is focus and making choices. And if you can do that, it's incredibly powerful.
I mentioned talking about AI a bit, and I had chatted with John Richitello about that a number of times as well. And Unity has some pretty cool tech that you've been working on, frankly, for years,
Hmm.
actually. Sometimes on in-game stuff like smarter NPCs and other stuff like that. And I'm sure as well on the development side. Julianne, your PR rep, had mentioned at the beginning of this call that I just had the chief scientist of Roblox on my Tech First podcast, and he had talked about actually making games by voice, right? Giving
Yep.
voice prompts to an AI system, an LLM, and building games. Talk about how you see AI building into Unity on the development side, as well as on the publishing, the actual delivery of experiences side.
Yeah. Yeah, we have made lots of investments in AI, and we're going to continue to do so because it's really crucial. Our view of AI going forward is that we want to use it to help our customers make games more quickly, less expensively, more efficiently, and to deliver more innovation in that. That's going to be our sole primary focus. I believe, having spent a lot of years making games, the single greatest value we can deliver back to that customer is to leverage the power of AI to fundamentally change the economics of how games are made. Because the time and cost of game making is the single biggest challenge that game
Mhm.
makers have. If you can meaningfully impact that equation, you will get more and better games. You'll get more innovation. It's just better for everyone. And again, I think back to your question of focus. There's a million different ways you can think about AI. Our principal way to focus it is to try to put tools in the hands of our customers that are going to fundamentally change what they can do and how they can do it, and principally around efficiency and speed. And because we think that's where we, as a platform and a tools provider, we think that's where we can have the most impact.
How do you see that impacting the timeline, the costs of making games? out into the future? We've all seen games, whether they're AAA on console or others, that just drag on through years of development. On the mobile side, maybe that's more measured in months and single digit years, but it has happened occasionally. And we've seen teams, 1,000-person development teams. Nobody knows, no one person knows how everything fits together. How do you see AI impacting development speed and cost in Unity over, let's say, the next 18 months?
Yeah, game making is a devilishly complicated activity. And you're right. And what we can do is try to put tools in the hands of developers that are approachable, straightforward, and simple and efficient. The core vision of this company has always been that way. Having said that, it is complicated to use our engine. It is difficult to use some of the tools. There's a very steep learning curve. It takes time. That's true of every engine, but it's certainly true of ours. To the extent we can put AI-driven tools and assistance in the hands of folks who are using Unity that speed core activities, right? So and there's a spectrum. So yeah, we can offer you contextual help and chat, but wouldn't it be also be great if, you could just tell the shader tool what you wanted it to do, not learn the shader tool, right, as
Yes.
much, or not learn the intricacies of the shader tool. Things like that will have profound impacts in time, which then
Mhm.
will allow developers to do more in that same
Mhm.
amount of time, which is going to have a fundamental impact on the industry. And again, as a platform and a tools provider, that's the kind of thing you should be focusing on.
I love it. I had to think of that. Are you a Seinfeld fan?
Yes.
Okay. You remember the episode where Kramer was doing the movie line and he said,
So you do not know this, but I was the general manager of MoviePhone.
of what? Sorry?
Of MoviePhone.
No
You
way.
remember MoviePhone?
Yes,
So
exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Why don't
that
you
was the
just tell me what
joke.
movie you want to go see?
Correct. So that was the joke of that Seinfeld. I ran that business.
Yes, yes, exactly.
So that's exactly right. And it's been a dream. I think it's just been kind of the dream of humanity over time that you could just speak your way to outcomes. What's incredibly exciting about the world right now is that I believe we are on the precipice of those kinds of advancements, and it will fundamentally change how people interact with software. Absolutely. Right. And so we just want to be at the forefront of that in our part of the world.
Yeah. Let's go back to ads for a moment and bring in the AI conversation there as well. You mentioned that monetization in games or apps in general works best when it's intricately built into the fabric of the experience, not a bolt-on add-on after the fact. And
Yep.
that makes perfect sense. How are you planning to use some of your AI as well to, on the ad side of monetization, ensure that you get the right things in front of the right people at the right time?
I think you're right. And the primary thing that connects both of those activities is how you leverage data, right? As we talked about in the engine side, how do you ingest and then take insights from the data that help you understand players better so you can make better experiences? That fundamental process is the same on the ad side, right?
Mhm.
Which is how I ingest vast amounts of data that help me understand players so that I can deliver relevant, meaningful advertising to them. And that's what drives ROI on the ad side. The investments in machine learning, in our data infrastructure and data science are at the core of both of those activities because and that's because as we talked about it, I believe those they are fundamentally related.
Super interesting. I think that you've got a very challenging job despite having a wonderful position from which to start, and I wish you all the best.
I really appreciate you taking the time, and I agree there's a lot of work to do, but I also feel that we've just scratched the surface of what we can do. So I hope everyone will see more from us soon.
Excellent. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, John. Really appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you both. Bye.
All right.
Bye. Julianne, you'll shoot me a copy when you've
Yep,
taken a look?
I will,
Awesome.
sir. Thanks, John.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Bye.